This is often how Christianity is presented. Is your life a mess? Are you at the end of your rope? Have you tried everything else and still feel unfulfilled? Then try Jesus. A relationship with him will fix your life. It works. I was just talking to somebody who did that. Disappointed with the way his life has turned out, he gave Jesus a try. But as he confessed to me, instead of transforming his life, as he says in his words, it isn't working for me. It isn't working for me. I can't tell you how many times I've heard some variation of that sentiment. And if this is what it means to have a relationship with Christ, maybe that's why so many people have rejected Christianity. They give it a sincere try. They give Jesus a shot, but then they're bitterly disappointed when it doesn't work for them, and they conclude that he's not real, that it can't be true. But approaching Jesus this way reduces him to something that will fix all my problems, some thing that will take care of all my needs. It reduces him to something other than the living God. The focus is still all on me, how he can satisfy all my needs. It's all about using him to get what I want. There's no love in that. There's no possibility of a genuine relationship in that. A genuinely loving relationship always focuses on the other. The closest I ever came to feeling complete despair, the lowest point of my life by far, was when I was 22. I had experienced a whole series of bitter disappointments in terms of career and relationships, and in my mind, my life wasn't working out the way I wanted to. It was a complete mess. It was my second year of teaching, and I was up late one night. I couldn't sleep thinking about the disaster my life had become, so I decided to go out and take a ride in the car. I don't cry, but things were so bad that I started to cry, and the tears just came flooding out. It was there so much so that I was having trouble focusing on the road. I never seriously contemplated taking my own life, but at that moment I thought, if I happened to drive off the road and kill myself, that wouldn't be so bad. At least it would stop the pain. It had gotten so bad I didn't care if I died. But also in that moment, something inside me told me to start saying thank you, to start thanking God. It was crazy. I had nothing to be thankful for. But for some reason, I started thanking him. I guess I had nothing to lose. So I started thanking him. There's nothing I could genuinely thank him for. So I started thanking him for silly things like the trees by the side of the road, or the car I was riding in, or the next song that came up on the radio. Pretty soon, my litany of thanks was outpacing my tears. And then I decided to do something that I had never done before. I don't know where this idea came from, but I started to thank God, for who he is. And as I began to do that, I started to laugh. It was crazy. It wasn't this like silly giggle. It was this profound laugh, if that makes any sense. It was like there was this deep, deep joy inside of me that was just welling up and beginning to spill over. I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop laughing, but I didn't want to. It felt great. In that moment of my deepest despair, the worst point, the lowest point of my life, I was experiencing a joy. I became so joyful that I couldn't stop laughing. Focusing on Jesus, praising him, adoring him, had turned my despair into joy. Of course, in my despair, I had forgotten what I had learned a couple of years before when I first fell in love with him, and that is to keep my eyes focused on him. And although it's incredibly challenging keeping this focus even to this day, whenever I do, that joy comes flooding back in. As I shared my experience, the experience of this night with other people, I met a number of Christians, many Christians who've had a similar kind of experience, living a life focused on Christ, adoring Jesus for who he is the portal into his divine life, the life that we long for. This is what it means to have a relationship with him. It's not about us inviting him into our lives so he can fix them. It's about him inviting us into his divine life, the awesome wonder of his divine life, so that we can know his joy. It means falling in love with God, and nothing compares to the glory of that. So do you think having a relationship with Jesus is possible, that it's a real thing? Or do you think the whole thing is delusional? I'd love to hear what you think. Please go to the Raising Jesus website, the Contact EJ page, and leave your comments there. Also, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please like the Raising Jesus Facebook page so that we can keep you updated on future videos, blogs, and announcements. I'd love to hear from you.